Hi guys, I'm Sam from the Unity of Life, and today we're on our very second animal video. So this is going to be part of a mini series like the one that before I did on animal and engineering, which was our last video, which if you've seen that would have been great. So this is about animals and human interactions, especially this video. So in this little video we're gonna take a little trip around the world, okay? And we're gonna be looking at 3 different species. Those species are an Iberian wolf, a red fox, and a Siberian tiger, okay? So to make it a little bit easier, so you know the distribution of each species, because some species, 2 of the 3 species, are much more endangered than one of them. There will be a map that's going to appear at the bottom of this video with a little key. So just in case you don't quite know the key, the green area is for the Iberian wolf, the orange area is for the red fox, and the purple area is for the Siberian tiger. If you know anything about these 3 species, you can probably guess at which 2 species are much more threatened and much more endangered than the other one. So let's talk about the Iberian wolf, because I absolutely love wolves. Wolves are my favourite animal in the whole entire world. In fact, I have a wolf tattoo here, little rose, but that's because I absolutely love wolves and I do want to work with them, and they are quite critically endangered. I know quite a bit about wolves. So with wolves in particular, there is a lot of different subspecies, okay? So the subspecies we're looking at is the Iberian wolf, and it is a subspecies of the grey wolf. Each different species of wolf, they have different endangered status on the IU red list. IUC, is it red list? I can't quite remember what it's called, but there's an international red list, and it's a website, and you can go and look at different animals and see what their endangered status is, whether they're very vulnerable, whether they're endangered, whether they're really close to being extinct, which is what we don't want, or if they're least concerned, like meerkats. Meerkats are everywhere and they're doing okay in the wild. So we're going to talk about the Iberian wolf for now. So the Iberian wolf is a subspecies of the grey wolf, like I've already mentioned, and it's an endangered species, so that is not good whatsoever. At all. Like, we don't want a species to be endangered, we want them to be the least concerned, and the reason I'm saying this is because of what a lot of people don't seem to understand, is that animals are important for the ecosystem. The ecosystem is very delicate, it is very sensitive, so if you wipe out one species, then that whole ecosystem is impacted. And you're probably thinking, what's this got to do with me? Right, okay, we are all living on this planet, okay? We all have to share it. That is humans and animals alike, okay? So if we get rid of an animal and destroy the ecosystem, guess what? That affects you, because somewhere down the line it's going to cause an effect for you, okay? And we as humans really need to wake the hell up, right? We are destroying this planet, and we need to stop. This planet is overheated. One thing that I have learned before I get too involved into this is that we have had 5 mass extinctions, right? We are currently facing our 6th mass extinction. This mass extinction is happening at a quicker rate than what the past other 5 are. And do you know why that is? It's because of us. It's because of everything that we are doing. Because even though we live in a glorious era where we have technology, we are still destroying this planet, because for some reason we're not using the gifts and the talents that we have to help these animals that are in need. And it's the same with humans. Don't forget, that's what we're trying to do here with the Unity of Life. We are trying to show respect for each other as well as animals, because we have to learn to respect others of our own species before we can even dream of thinking helping other people, other animals of different species. It's a fact, okay? So, you know, this racism that happens and occurs, it's ridiculous, okay? You need to put this aside, because and this homophobia and just all the hate in the world, it just has to stop, right? As soon as we can stop hating one another, like, you don't have to like people. You're gonna meet people you don't like, but just respect them. And it is the same thing for animals, okay? I'm trying to show you that animals, they're not that far different from ourselves, and we can learn a lot from them when it comes to our very own species. So, the Iberian wolf, like I said, it's a very endangered species, and it lives in the northern areas of the Iberian Peninsula, which is between Spain and Portugal, for those who don't know. But like I said, there will be a map at the bottom of this video for you to check that out. And we are looking at the green area on that map at the moment. Right, so they have a very Spanish, there's a area that's obviously got a very Spanish name that I'm going to try and pronounce, because I can't speak Spanish and I'm not butchering any more names, okay? And I think it seems to be sort of an organisation or something. We're going to get into it anyway. So this company, they existed between 1954 and 1968, so not a long period of time. And their purpose was, okay, they're not very good people. Their purpose was to reward the killing of animals. So I'm glad that they don't exist anymore. And the reason they were rewarding this killing of animals was because they believed that these animals, they were killing livestock for the sake of killing, right? That's one thing animals don't do. That's a myth. So it's an old folks' mother's tale. An animal will kill another animal for food and food only. It doesn't kill another animal for the sake of killing another animal. There is a reason behind that killing, whether it's for food or whether it's so they can strengthen their gene pool, which is about lions, which I might do an episode on lions at a later date, because they do kill their offspring for it's infanticide. They kill the offspring, it brings the mother into season again, and they can mate. This is the males, and then they can, their genes are getting into the generation, and they're limiting the genes of another lion that they don't want their genes in the generation. It's all about survival of the fittest, so there is always a reason why an animal is going to kill another animal. They don't just do it for the sake of it, okay? It was reported that 196,147 animals, that's a hell of a lot of animals, were killed. Although some people think it was much higher, right? So 1,470 of these animals were wolves. And that disgusts me. The number of the 196,147 animals is disgusting on its own, don't get me wrong, but the fact that 1,470 of those animals were wolves is outstanding. It's absolutely sickening, and it's damn right disgusting. And unfortunately, hunting of animals still exists today. So if you live in America, you've probably heard a lot about that. I'm not getting at Americans in general. It's just that's all been in the news quite a bit, is the killing of a lot of wolves in certain states in America. So sadly, it's estimated that about 500 wolves are killed each day. This is just Iberian wolves, right? They're just on that peninsula. They're only in that tiny little area. They haven't got as vast environment and habitat as the grey wolf does. So 500 is really detrimental to this species, okay? So these farmers are killing wolves and they're displaying their corpses. I do have pictures on my notes, but they're disgusting and they're horrifying, so I'm not going to put them up for you to see. So these farmers see these wolves as pests, with like a rat or a mouse that you don't want that in your house, and that's what a wolf is equivalent to these Spanish farmers. Pests, and they put the rotten bodies of everywhere, and this decomposition, this natural way of getting rid of a dead body, it can cause a lot of health problems. It attracts birds, which damage your crops, and it attracts vermin and disease, which can cause diseases in animals and humans, because there is such a thing as zoonotic disease, and that is where an animal can pass on a disease to a human, and vice versa. A human can pass it on to an animal as well. So nearly 90% of the wolf populations live in 2 different areas, which I'll have the names appear on the screen, because again, I'm not going to try and pronounce them. And unfortunately, there's quite a high human density. And this human density, it forces these wolves to feed on the cattle, because it's an easier prey, and it's obviously taken over a lot of their environment. So, they haven't really got any choice but to feed off this cattle, and this is what's causing this conflict between these wolves and these farmers. So there has been an increase in wolf packs over the years. So these references, these are from 2016, so these are probably a little bit outdated. So the Iberian wolf, it's a medium-sized predator. It weighs between 30 to 40 kilograms. So in case you're wondering what that is, that's roughly the weight of a Labrador or a Golden Retriever, if anybody's got one of those pets. It's the same as an Iberian wolf. So that's all I have on an Iberian wolf. So the next animal that is on my list for us to talk about is the red fox. Now, the red fox is found in quite a lot of places in the world. Okay, in fact, the red fox is found in most of the northern hemisphere, apart from Australia and New Zealand. Okay, so the red foxes that we'll be focusing on are mainly in the UK, and they are rural. And the reason that we're looking at the ones in the UK is because I'm a little bit biased, because I am from the UK. So rural areas in the UK have the highest populations of red fox. It is estimated that there are 225,000 rural and 33,000 urban. This being 22 to 30 red foxes per square mile in some cities. I know that I live in the countryside, sort of rural, and I know for the fact that we do have foxes. I've never actually seen one in the wild. I have seen them in captivity, but you do hear them at night. But we've never seen them, and we've got camera traps and everything, and we still haven't been able to get a picture of the fox. Pictures of our red squirrels that we are fortunate to have, and rats and mice, and the odd neighbour's cat. It's always been able to get on there. So, human threats to the red fox, okay? So one of the biggest ones is fox hunting, and I hate that sport. It is absolutely vile. It annoys me that people think that is what makes Britain Britain. It's one of those, it's sport. That's very British. It drives me insane, okay? Because it is a horrible, brutal sport, and if you don't know what I'm on about, people go on horseback with a pack of like 16 plus dogs, and they hunt for one tiny little fox, which they do allow to their dogs to rip her pieces from limb to limb, right? They're not meant to do that. It's really against the law. You are allowed to do, and I see trails and things like that, but you are not actually meant to go and kill the fox. But there are still people who just do not give a crap about the law. They don't give a damn, and they still do this to this day. So if you know anybody who does that, please get them to stop, because it is ridiculous, it is cruel, it is diabolical, and it is just absolutely ridiculous, and there's absolutely no need for it whatsoever. Okay, so one of the other threats rather is actually the loss of habitat, and that is so common for every single animal out there that's in the wild, is this loss of habitat. And why? Is because we're being really greedy, and we're living longer, and even though we're having less children than what we did once upon a time ago, there is still a huge population of humans, much more bigger than what it was. So that means we needed more land because there's more of us, and that means animals are suffering. So in the early 1900s, foxes were hunted quite a lot as well, and they were being raised for their fur. Yeah, you heard me. They were putting all this effort into breeding and raising a fox just to kill it for a fur coat. A fur bloody coat. Okay, it is absolutely ridiculous, okay? Fur belongs on an animal, not on a human. It is just sick that people are raising these animals for the reason of, I'm going to kill you. I know Born Free have mentioned trophy hunting in the past, where there's some hunting lodges that will breed lions for the purpose of tourists to come and kill them, which is absolutely disgusting and needs to stop. So fox fur was in huge demand in the market and was only second to minx fur, which is absolutely disgusting. So red foxes may not be raised and killed for the fur in the UK anymore, but humans are still a threat. So fox hunting with dogs was banned by the Hunting Act of 2004, but like I said, some people still do it. But they're still discussing repealing this ban on fox hunting. And other threats to foxes are road traffic. Unfortunately, they run out in front of the roads in cars and they do get run over, which is actually the same reason why a lot of rare wolves are being killed over in places like America. Is down to road traffic. Unfortunately, cars are wiping out quite a few species. Yeah, and then we've got these sick people who think it's very okay to go around poisoning and shooting these animals, and it is absolutely against the law and you have no right to do so. In the UK, there are strictly enforced laws for hunting foxes, so measures for controlling fox populations are in place. Many of these are monitored by the animal welfare organisations. Unfortunately though, with the law, as we will discover in other episodes, there are a few loopholes that need to be closed up and tightened just to make the laws a little bit more sterner and animals a bit safer. So intervention strategies. Okay, so in areas of the UK where there are a lot of foxes, there's controls of like 60% of the foxes are less than a year old, right? So a lot of them are, unfortunately, aren't making it past 1 year of age in their lives. There's two categories which intervention strategies for foxes can be put in. These are lethal, so these are snares, which is the wrong type. Don't go be putting snares out there. It's absolutely horrendous, the pain and agony these animals are putting in. So we've also got shooting and poisons, which are very illegal in the UK. So non-lethal, we've got repellents and deterrents. Flashing lights in lamb fields are supported to scare foxes, which is much more beneficial for you to keep hold of your lambs in your use if you're a farmer and the foxes still have its life. Permanent fox-proof fences, yes, it costs a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, it's going to cost you even more if you lose your livelihood. So the fence is designed to have an overhang which stops the foxes from climbing over the fence because they're fantastic climbers, and a slope under the ground to stop the fox from digging under because they're fantastic at digging. Or you have the option of electric fences, which quite a lot of people have anyway, to stop a variety of animals getting out of fields. So the costs, well, I'm not going to go too much into costs because, the equipment for it's not that bad. You buy an electric fence and then you're only paying for the electric after that, and that can be a fence for the year, which is as little as £3.80 for on top of the 157-ish that you have to pay to get it all set up in the first place. So the impact on human populations. So the population of an urban fox has increased in the UK's northern cities. Foxes have learned to adapt. Like every other animal, it's called evolution. Survival of the fittest. And one thing they have adapted to living in large towns and cities where they have been known to eat out of bins. In fact, there's been quite a problem over the recent years of people having their bins knocked over and rubbish left on the streets after foxes have been scavenging. So this scavenging makes a mess as well as attracts other animals that people see as pests, such as rats. There's even been stories out there that claim that foxes have attacked people and children, which, by the way, is not true, because foxes, they try to keep to themselves. They're like wolves in that aspect. They are closely related, and humans scare the crap out of them, right? And they really don't want to associate with humans whatsoever, so they are not going to be attacking any humans or any children, okay? It's just not plausible. They just, like I said, they don't tend to like humans. They try to stay out of the way, rightly so. I don't disagree with them. Okay, so some farmers, they see the foxes as pests because they're taking piglets, lambs, chickens, and they're stealing eggs for food, okay? You know, and these animals were only going to be killed and used for food anyway. I would rather they go to feed animals as a natural thing rather than actual humans. Because, yeah, let's not get into that at the moment. Right. So foxes, they may carry zoonotic diseases, so there's that posh thing that I mentioned before, which pets may come in contact with and may contract to humans, but it's very rare that does happen. So the ethical implications, before we get into the ethical implications, on the map below you'll see the orange areas. They're all where you will find red foxes. I forgot to mention that before I got too far into it. So in the UK and some of the old colonies of the UK, that's a history lesson. I mean, you don't know anything about that. There is plenty of videos out there that will talk about it. Oversimplified. They do some really good, simple, really funny animations about various different events in history, so I would check them out for any history lessons that you may want. The fox has been hunted as sport under the notion that it's for conservation and pest control. It really isn't. So anybody that says that, it's talking out the butthole, put it that way. And it is very cruel and it is very unnecessary, and a lot of people do think that's. So from the map that you will see on here, it appears that anomaly from red foxes in Australia and New Zealand. There's large areas between the nearest habitats of in the likes of Asia. The answer to this question is simple. Both countries were colonies of Great Britain. Again, if you don't know anything about that, that's a good little history for you to go and look up. Red foxes were introduced, and they contributed just for people to still fox hunt in these colonies, which is utterly ridiculous and disgusting. But that was we're talking hundreds of years ago, and that was just the thing. So people's first response to anything they deemed to be a pest is to kill it, which is quite wrong. Maybe we should be understanding these animals. Animals are very intelligent, and they're not that dissimilar to us. And they have emotions, they have feelings. Elephants have been known, and it's been proven that they grieve their dead, just like we do. And yet we're going around slaughtering them as well. But let's not get too much into that. That can be a different video. Okay, so people do kill animals, and it is for food, and it is just like any other wild carnivore. Unfortunately, we are killing way more animals for food than what we do need to, and I'm starting to come around to the whole vegan lifestyle. I'm not gonna lie, vegans and vegetarians, I see them definitely in a completely new light, especially as I've got older and I've learned different facts about these things. So on to the Siberian tiger, which on the map that you'll see on the screen is the little purple area. Okay, it's like a little purple dot. And we are talking about Russia now. So the Siberian tiger, also known as the Amur tiger, the Siberian tiger, it lives in eastern Russia, mainly in forest regions, which of course, just like the Amazon rainforest, unfortunately, are being cut down, and these tigers have nowhere to go. Okay, it's the biggest species of cat, and they're very endangered, in case you didn't get that from the tone of my voice. So human threats. So since the beginning of the 20th century, the tiger population has dropped by 95%. Yes, you heard me right. 95% that population has dropped. That is absolutely, utterly disgusting, and it blows my mind that this species has not been extinct yet by that massive drop. It is sad. It is vile, and we have to start doing something about it, because a lot of people these days are really against zoos, but that is also a topic for another video. So logging is a huge threat to these tigers, like I've already said, and it is the same for many different species in the Amazon rainforest as well, and it absolutely annoys me, and I cannot stand the fact that this is happening. Logging removes forests, but in doing so, to access roads are created, and it caused encounters between people who fear tigers, and will kill them, because I think it's kill or be killed, which isn't really necessarily the case. If you are not a threat to the tiger is going to leave you alone. Common sense is just a fact. Please, people, can you get this into your heads? Right. Another thing, like we've mentioned with the red fox and we've mentioned with wolves, is that they are being hit and run over by cars, and they're being killed on impact, and we're not always on impact neither. The Siberian tiger, its biggest threats are humans. Yeah, you heard me. Humans. Nothing else. Just humans. You know, it's a top predator, and they're stronger and better than what we are, and yet we're killing them off, and we're certainly not killing them for food, because I don't know anybody that eats tigers. I am aware of these Chinese traditional medicines that do involve tiger bones, which is absolutely horrendous, and it's disgusting that these things are still happening. I get the tradition and the cultural aspect, but with the time period that we're living in and the knowledge that we have, you would think that those types of things would be left to the history books and not in practice. So obviously the logging, it's destroying their habitats, and one of the main threats is the activities such as logging and grazing, development products, and fires, because the world is heating up and we're having a lot more forest fires. Just ask Australia and everything, the horrors and the nightmares that they went through with their bushfires as of 2020, which was absolutely horrendous. We started off the year with that, and then this global pandemic hit, and it's all gone downhill since. So logging in Russia has its laws, however people do not follow these laws, because they never do, because they think they're above the law and they think they're better than everybody else, which leads to overharvesting. And without trees, tigers do not have enough cover to hunt. So statistics show that 100% of the tigers that lived where there are no roads, they survive longer than those who are found living near roads. The roads bring poachers and illegal hunters to the tiger's habitat. It's like a little red flag that, hey, there's a tiger over here. The roads being poached, yeah. Right, and it's estimated that humans are responsible for around 75 to 85% of tiger mortalities, which is absolutely downright disgusting, and we should be ashamed as humans to be letting this happen and to continue, right? we need to start giving a crap, and we still need to start changing our ways. And the way that we're going to start changing our ways is starting with ourselves. We're going to start making slow changes with ourselves when we look in the mirror, and we're going to become better people. Okay, and we're going to do this together with this YouTube channel, and these videos. Okay, that's what my aim is. Okay. We can all do these tiny little improvements, and I'm going to go for a video with how small these little improvements that you can do and you can change today that are going to make our lives and this world that we live in a much better place. Okay, so in 1995, 3 years before I was born, so that's 26 years ago, there were 330 to 371 adult tigers. Guess how many there is of today. In 2015, after a survey of 60,000 square miles of the tiger's habitat, the number has risen to 540 in the wild. And that was including some 100 cubs, which is fantastic and brilliant news for the tigers in the wild. However, I'm not quite sure how that stands as of today. It is believed that 20 to 30 tigers are poached in Russia every year, which isn't as bad as the wolves, but it is still really bad. No tigers, no animals being poached around the world would be absolutely fantastic. Although the numbers may be higher, actually, it says here, which that's disgusting. Anyway, scientists have warned that if more than 15% of female tigers are poached, then this could have a serious impact on the wild population of tigers that have low populations compared to growth of other big cats. Why is that the reason? Okay, for anybody who does not know, males, they produce sperm their whole entire lifetimes. Female mammals, they produce eggs, and they are born with a set amount of eggs, and so they have a very limited breeding window compared to a male. And obviously females, they're pregnant for quite some time, and males, they can multiply quite fast and have multiple offspring. That is a much higher significant number than females, because females put a lot of genetic energy in, especially female mammals, because not only do they grow the offspring inside them, but then they give birth and then they raise them, and there's a lot of energy that goes into that, which makes females a lot slower at reproduction than what males do. If a female loses an offspring, it's devastating, and it's much more of a cost to the female than it does to the male. So we need females in there as well as males for the reproduction of offspring. But like I said, because it is harder and takes longer for a female to reproduce, we need to really leave them alone. Not that I'm saying that you can go and kill males, because you can't. You can't kill any animals. It's ridiculous. Just don't go around killing other animals. And don't go around killing other people neither, while we're on that subject. Because that's just as equally as horrific and horrifying. So again, tigers are poached for their fur. Fur. You have these tiger fur rugs. It's ridiculous. In fact, while I'm on there, you just don't need to look any further than the Tiger King, because he was absolutely appalling. And that Caroline, whatever the hell her name was, that she was against him, she's just as bad as him. Okay, so she can go and whistle as well, because she really should be in jail for animal abuse as well. She is calling the kettle black, shall we say. I don't know if that's PC anymore. But yeah, basically she's just been a huge flipping hypocrite, which is what that saying is hinting at. And the tigers, they're also poached for their body parts and their bones, which is for these Chinese traditional medicine, which I said should not be practiced in real life, but should stay in the history books. That's where it belongs, to be fair. People in Russia, they get involved in poaching as the income in small villages is poor, and the government find it hard to catch them, apparently. Illegal hunting of deer and boar reduced the number of prey animals for the tigers, and the number of ungulates, which is a hoofed animal, has decreased dramatically over the last 15 years, and that's obviously what tigers eat upon, and so they're forced to feed on livestock. So again, we come back down to farmers shooting them. Okay, so I'm hoping you've learned a lot from this episode. If you haven't, I'm not doing a very good job. So I know this one was a little bit longer, but I did rant and rave a little bit, and I apologise, but these things are very close to my heart, and I wouldn't stop. And I'm just a passionate person. But anyways, please don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.